panel will only be about 30, 40 minutes, but I think that it's good for you to hear from folks in Rochester that have had the opportunity to benefit from our GBI program. So Cynthia Castro, if you are here, if you can come up on stage. Lee Cooper, if you're here. And Gabrielle Smith, if you can come up, and we're just gonna have a conversation. Give them a hand as they come up on stage. Any of us could be in a position where we may need guaranteed basic income, including a guy that worked for Harvard, right? Because of the situation that he was dealing with his son. So there is a wide swath of folks. And then the last point I'll make before I start asking questions of our panel is that, and I've been saying this consistently, in 2021, we cut childhood poverty in half. Reverend Brown had someone from the Children's Defense Fund come last year that spoke about how we were able to cut childhood poverty by half just by during the child tax credit and the earned income tax credit. We were able to cut childhood poverty in half. So we know how to do this. We know how to do this, but a lot of this has fallen at the feet of the cities. In cities, as mayors, I know all those mayors, they're all friends of mine. Cities now have less and less resources and more responsibility. I can't tell you how many people call the city of Rochester and say, we need you to help solve this problem. So we also need the help of philanthropy. We need the help of other government entities, particularly the federal government, to help us to be able to solve the poverty challenges that we have in our community. The Cambridge model that you saw that was on there, Cambridge is in Harvard, where Harvard and other schools are, they got a lot of money. So that $20+ million that they talked about that they were spending on their GBI program all came from philanthropy. So I want to thank our great panel for being here, and I'm just going to have each of them just kind of tell us a little bit about themselves. And you don't have to tell your whole life story, but just a little bit about yourself, and then I want to ask you about how guaranteed income affected you. So let's start with Cynthia.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? My name is Cynthia. I'm a mother of 4. I have 3 boys and 1 girl. I'm currently right now disabled, and I'm also part of a survivor for domestic violence.
And Lee.
Y'all can hear me? No, I'm fine.
You're going to need a mic, Lee. You're going to need a mic. My voice is as loud as yours, and you see they came up and gave me a mic, so you got to talk to the mic.
I got you. My name is Lee. Young inner city kid. Grew up, sports, getting good grades. Ended up having a daughter at 17, turning 18. Tried college. Got some phone calls in the midst of the night like, hey, I need some diapers. So now I'm in class, and I'm thinking about getting diapers. I'm not really focused on college. Dropped out, got a job, had some ups and downs, ran into this program, and I can say now my life has hit a turning point. Opened my eyes up a little more to some things, gave me some cushion on some things, and it's not so uptight. So I definitely appreciate everybody, the mayor, Red Myers, and everyone that had hands involved in this program. And first and foremost, I just want to thank God.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gabrielle. I'm a mother of 6. Up until recently, also a caretaker to my mother and mother-in-law, and participant of the GBI program.
Well, thank you. So why don't we start with Gabby, while you got the mic. Tell me about how this program has impacted you. Talk about the process, because I think a lot of people don't know 16,000 people roughly probably applied or had an interest in this program. Some people thought it was too good to be true. We would have people calling the mayor's office saying, is this a scam? Is this something that you're doing? Or some people would say, Mayor, I know you got to get me in there. But we did a randomized selection, right? It was a randomized selection to make sure that it was fair for everyone. So Gabby, tell us about the process and what the program has kind of meant to you.
I received a link from my oldest daughter, who is a MCC student, and I clicked on it. Like other people, I also thought it was a scam. I read a little bit more into it, and I think I was contacted by Lydia, or I called her, I'm sorry, and they said it was real, and so I applied, and I just said, hey, why not apply? I wasn't expecting to be chosen or anything, and when I got the call, I just went, like, and it's definitely been a help. Well, that was the process.
Yeah, yeah. And how has it kind of helped your life since your day-to-day life since the program kind of started?
Being within the program, during the process of the program, I became a grandmother. I have a teen parent at the house. I don't know what they put in the Similac or the material they're using for the diapers, but them things are expensive. That has helped. Recently, my boyfriend owns a moving company, and I'm a partner with that. And recently, we've just had like back-to-back deaths, and GBI has provided a cushion. Well, when you own your own business, there's no real like grievance days or
Right.
stuff like that. Or even if you are working, you only get so many. And I mean, back-to-back deaths, it's just been a cushion, being able to simple things that people do every day became like, that would have been a luxury to us. And I'll explain by, once again, the multiple deaths, just being able to order some food because I physically can't cook today.
Right.
Like,
Because you're grieving,
simple
you're dealing with
things like
challenges,
that.
right?
Yes, like you're just exhausted from the day-to-day activities. So something as simple as ordering out that day, or
Right.
stuff like that.
And Gabby's also a movie star. She was featured you were featured in a film that was done on Rochester on how we spent our ARPA dollars, and they talked about how we were innovative in terms of using all of our ARPA dollars, just not for this, but for our healthy food program, but for our GBI program as well. And Gabby was featured in that program. Lee, if you can pass the mic to Lee. Lee, how about you talk about the process and how you were impacted, how it's impacted you so far?
So I think I was coming from work. My aunt just got in from Ohio. She comes up, she's like, Lee, what you doing? I'm like, just coming from work. She's like, you always working. There's some programs I need you to look at. They filling out, they giving out money. You doing all this for your girls. Somebody should be helping you. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna fill out. I'm like, Auntie, they asking for my social. They getting up all in my business. I don't really, I'm chill. I don't really put it all out there like that. So she's like, just apply, trust me, you'll get a call. You're a good person. It'll come back to you. Long story short, I get some emails, get a phone call from Red Myers. Then I go down to meet her at one of her facilities, and we had a great conversation. And it wasn't really more so about the program. It was just more so about getting my background, just holding a conversation where I felt comfortable enough to go through with everything. Because like I said, I'm not one to ask for help, even if I'm struggling. Like, I give my kids a meal before I eat. That's just how I grew up. So I definitely appreciate her for being selective, and it's been a big help. Like I said, it's different every month. Sometimes it might be an insurance bill. Sometimes it might be, damn, we ain't got no food. We just gonna spend this on groceries. Sometimes it's gas. Like, hey, I gotta get to work and make money. This is me getting to work and making money. And it's just effective in many ways. Like I said, it's hard to save. I always have a little savings, but it's like, all right, you can't save when you need it. You gotta spend, It's a little cushion. I could save on top of that, and it's just been a blessing.
Yeah, and he mentioned savings. And a lot of people may not know this, but less than half of Americans can come up with $400 for an emergency. Think about that. That cushion, if it's not there for you, if something happens. So this is why these conversations about GBI are so very important. And Cynthia, If you can talk about same thing, but you mentioned some of your health challenges. Talk about how this has also helped you manage through those as well, being in the GBI program. And I always tell folks, any of us could have a health challenge at any time. And some of the folks you saw, I think it was Fox News or whatever it was, in some of their flip comments about what GBI is, you think differently when you actually experience a situation, or when you go through a situation, or when you have a loved one that goes through a situation. And I think that empathy is something that has been lacking in our country. And as a result, that is why you are seeing this toxic conversation that we have when we look at people as other, as it's just those people. But you have someone right here that can tell you her situation. So Cynthia, why don't you fill us in on that?
Well, I've heard GBI through my sister. I filled out the application. There was a waiting time limit, but I wasn't approved the first ring. A couple weeks later, or a month, I'm not sure, I don't remember, I got an email saying that I was selected. So I followed the process, spoke to Reverend, her and her team, they were very grateful to walk me through it, answer all my calls, even by text. So I appreciate you guys as well. I explained I'm disabled. 2004, my ex-husband tried to kill me.
You good, baby. You look good. You are good. You are here.
And tried to commit suicide. And so I've been dealing with that up until this day. For the past going on 3 months, I just had 3 surgeries. I was scheduled for Thursday to go back, but I didn't because I know I would have been kept, and I was devoted to come up here today. I know everywhere the economy has gotten real bad, the violence. So I also homeschool my kids. I have a 14 and a 15 to be Thursday. And I also take care of my dad, who has dementia and cancer, along with my help. So the $500 that I get monthly helps me through everything. Thank you. Which is medication, food, transportation. I go with days without eating just to make sure that they have what they need, or to buy supplies for school because I homeschooled them. It's been a hard challenge, but because of this program, it helped me through a lot, and I'm very grateful for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for sharing your story with us. I'm so grateful for this panel deciding to come and share it with all of you, because technically for Guaranteed Basic Income, we say to the participants that, you know, it's confidential. You don't have to come out and say who was selected. You know, we do give a report because we use taxpayer dollars, but we don't have to say the folks, the people. You know, these are personal identifiable information. So for these folks to be able to come out and share their stories, it's important. But it's important because their stories, we believe, and I believe, will be able to impact others. And some of you in this room, by hearing these stories, will say, hey, I want to help support this GBI program. Lee, why don't you talk about, because you talk a lot about your kids, and I can see you kind of light up. I see that smile that comes on your face. I got my 2 sons over there. I made them come because I wanted them to experience this. Talk about how this has been able to help you with your children. How you've been able to connect and spend time with them because of these extra dollars that you get.
So I'm a girl dad. I have 2 girls plus 1 stepson. 2 different households. I'm only 23. My first kid's mother, she's incarcerated. She's been incarcerated for 4 years now. She's still got 1.5 years to go. The second one, you know, we working our things out. We still young. But for the most part, I try to keep my family together. So as far as the kids, Nothing with the women have to do with me having them together and feeling like I'm just a superhero to them. Not too many men in my family was stand-up guys. I could say a lot of them in and out of jail. Some passed away. I just wanted to be different. They my joy, man. They keep me going. Like I said, if I didn't have a program, I still do it for them, whatever it takes. Long hours at work. But the program gave me some cushion to take them out, have some fun, spend some money, you know. Not always say no when we go to the store. I hated it. Like, I hated it. We go to the store, I'd be like, you can't get that. Gotta tell them why. You can't get that. Sometimes we go to the store, I'm like, get whatever you want. They grab as much as they can carry, and we walk out the store. You know, so it's a good feeling. Even with, like, transportation, like I said, I used to have a busted down car, get hot, overheat. We can't go to Penfield Park. We gotta go to the city park. The city park, they don't got swings, or the paintings is messed up.
All right, I got to give you. Give me the names of those parks. Because I'll put any of our parks up against Penfield any day. South Ave, Bronson Ave just got a new swing set.
Hey.
All right.
Believe it or not, though, we do have some good parks and stuff. Cause I grew up around the neighborhood, so I know them very well. But to my girls, they're a little bougier than me, so they like the dinosaur park. They like seeing the ducks out there and stuff. So I mean, I'm big on family. So that was something I always wanted. And having my girls apart, it made it a little harder for me. You know. Get a little depressed, a little stressed, hit your ego a little bit. But I always remain myself and determined. So with this program, like I said, it was just even more cushion to make them feel like, you know, you can go to dad for whatever.
Thank you. And Gabby, I mean, you're striving. I love your story because my career before I started, I had an easier job before I became mayor. I was a banker, and I loved helping entrepreneurs and folks with financial education stuff. You know, to talk about how you've been able to work, you and your partner, to really be able to work to help grow your business as a result of having this guaranteed basic income.
Yes, actually, it has. Moving is just not a truck and people.
Right.
The program has helped us get supplies, bubble wrap. Like, that stuff is expensive, and people care about their stuff. And you got to care about their stuff. Advertisement, it has helped with advertisement. Some of the things that we generally didn't account in when starting a business, little things that add up and that you need to have to expand your business. Yeah. Like
Great,
that.
great. And now let's go right down the line, maybe starting with Cynthia. You all saw the film. You saw the film. You got a chance to sit here and look at it. Who did you identify with in the film? Who did you, and why? And why? Talk about how you related to how you could relate to some of the folks in the film.
Well, actually, I can relate
And I
to
watched you, Cynthia, as we was watching. I said, I bet you felt some connection there.
Yeah, I did. Couple different ones, actually. The young lady who took her exam, of course, she's a survivor of domestic violence. The Hartford gentleman that went to school for disability, because one of my son is also ADHD. So it's a couple challenges I've had with them and related to them.
Lee, what about you? I think I know, but
I would say more so O'Quinn, the young lady with a lot of kids. I think everybody's path is a little different, and in some way we all have the same path, just in a different way. I've been going through, the last year, I've been going through a court battle trying to get full custody of my oldest child, a 6-year-old, which loves her dad. But came to it, it was split. Grandmother got her most of the time, but it doesn't stop me from getting her or doing whatever it takes to, provide for her. But it kind of hit me low, where it's just like, you don't think I can provide for my kid? Like, I'm not the one incarcerated, and just different stuff was going through my head at the time, and like like I said, at a low point, I just kept pushing, and I think it was the will to prove them wrong, at the sense, prove myself what I'm worth, So, yeah, I think I could relate to her as well. She had that drive, she had that will, she had that determination to just keep pushing through, and that I can relate to.
And keep pushing, my brother.
Yes, sir.
And when you're pushing, make sure you're doing it in the city park. All right.
On the city swing.
Yeah. Now, Gabby, what about you? What about
Same
you?
person. Having 6 children of my own. My youngest is 10. So I was kind of home free. Then a grandbaby pops up. I was not definitely not
A surprise.
expecting to
Surprise,
raise
yeah.
another child. So yes, and as he mentioned, these new kids are bougie. So like I remember getting on the bus, going to my appointments. My daughter, prenatal appointments, I'm not taking no bus. So being able to call an Uber. And
We didn't have that.
yes. Yes, definitely. But taking on a whole nother person, and like I said, in addition to our kids, we also had our ailing mothers in our household as well. They both passed a couple months ago. But yeah, just having a household of people, and you have to feed everybody, and animals as well. We had one of my sons have epilepsy, so we have like a service dog. They don't eat on food stamps. So you still got to provide.
And that's like having another person in the house.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And yeah, it's we're just pushing forward.
Pushing on. Well, I tell your kids, listen, I come from a family of 6. I have 5 other brothers and sisters, and I said, oh man, I wish it was just me.
Oh,
But as you grow older, they will appreciate their brothers and sisters for better or worse. So you can make sure you tell them that. Let me ask you, what would you say to government entities, philanthropy, people who are thinking about funding a guaranteed basic income program? When I'm out begging for money, and when you're the mayor of a city, you beg for money a lot. We've been fairly successful in Rochester. We shouldn't have to beg, but we do, be it the state or philanthropic support. But we know that we have needs in our community that need to be met, and we need resources in order to do that. What would you say when I'm out talking to people about why funding other iterations of GBI are important? What would you say? What should I be saying to them? What would you say to them if you're in the room with people who have the resources to be able to help support these funds, be it at the government level or philanthropic level? Who wants to start first? All right, Lee. Go ahead, Lee. Lee, what would you say?
More so, my speech will be it'll probably be very simple. I got a truck. I got some vendors. We're going to take a ride through the city. I'm going to show you some of the things I see every day. I'm going to take you in some of the homes I've been in. I'm going to show you just simple conversations with the people that I interact with every day. And like I said, every neighborhood is a different neighborhood, but everyone has the same struggle. And if one thing can change everyone's struggle, why not push for it?
And they'll say, hey, okay, what are 1 or 2 of those struggles?
1 or 2 of those struggles, the main one, having food in the refrigerator, keeping the lights on.
Yeah. Cost of living.
And it just goes down the line. Like I said, like even apartments, sometimes apartments are more than a mortgage.
Right. Oh, they are.
You paying for apartments 12 months, and you can have 1 mortgage, 2 mortgages, a year, pay your taxes off every 5 years, and you got a house with your name on it.
That's right.
Same with a business. You can run a business in any area, but if you don't have the right people around it, the right people working for you, it's not gonna grow. It's not gonna make money.
That's right.
You know. So
That's right.
I would actually just take them down there, show them. And I know like some of the areas I'm scared of,
Yeah.
and I'm a tough guy. I think I'm a tough guy, but some of the areas is just like it's that bad. Like it's not all good. And you go 30 minutes out, and you're like, man, it's fresh air. What's
So it's
this?
like
I never seen this.
The tell of two
You know?
cities.
Yeah,
The tell of two cities,
Eh,
depending on where you live.
it does.
And it shouldn't be that way. And that's so. If you want, there's no reason why 14605 should be that more difference than 14610,
Correct.
right? And the challenge is how do we equalize that? All right, now I may have to have you come with me.
I wouldn't mind.
All right, Gabby, you want to take that?
I would say the proof is in the people. Nobody, I mean, in our income levels or whatever, the people of the program, it's maybe thought of as extra money, but it really wasn't extra money to nobody for anybody chosen that needed it.
Right.
And when y'all doing the stats and going over that stuff and you see how the money is being spent, like they said, it's mainly for food and transportation. Like the proof is in the people. Nobody's hiding it, where people are given all access to ourselves, our lives, and our family to be able to receive this blessing. So, I mean, it's all open there. It's in the people. You see what we're doing. You can see how it's moving. Like she said, when basic needs are met, crime goes down, and some people out here just, doing crimes and stuff to eat, to feed their families. You got ones that just do it for whatever, but for the most part, it's to meet our basic needs.
Right. Now, Daniela, I hope you're taking notes because she just had a saying. Now, I hope you don't try to charge me for that saying that you just said because I'm going to use it.
I mean,
She said the proof is in the people. So write that down. You probably will hear that at a Evans press conference or speech. But I like that because the proof is in the people. And the people are the three of you that are sitting here, but the same ones that happened with my brother Melvin Carter in St. Paul, my brother Roz Baraka in Newark. These are all people that I know that I look to as we were putting together these programs. And if you look, every single one of these people up here on this stage and on that screen had a story. And every single one of those people's stories was that they wanted better for the people that were in their lives. Every single one. It was about my daughter or their parent that they were all looking to help and try to strive someone else. So Cynthia, what would you say to the folks that we would go to continue to ask to support programs like this?
Well, again, I agree with Gabrielle. It's in the people. There's a lot of people who do, try to get assistance when they're not needed. So that messes it up for people who actually does need the help. Or even people who have $1 extra. So because now your income increased by $1, you get dropped with your public assistance. I generally don't like to speak about my personal info to anybody, but just to give you a highlight, I'm disabled right now. I have 2 boys in my house. My monthly income comes in as only about $1,400 a month, and I only get $170 of food stamps. Now, these are boys that eat like men, and the food, everything has gotten so expensive. The rice, the chicken, the gas, everything. So everything is expensive. So us penny pinching, trying to figure out where should what go, it majority goes into the food because the kids eat a lot, especially now with school being out.
So I want to say that we can solve poverty. We know how to do it. Now the question is do we have the will to do it? And it will take a collective effort of all the different levels of government, philanthropy, but everybody together to help transform people's lives. And you saw the one slide that was on the movie, on the documentary, that said, we are one of the most richest, most powerful nations on earth, but we spend the least on children. And every day I'm fighting to make sure that, you know, they don't cut pre-K, even though the city, we don't run education, but I'm like, no, we don't want pre-K, we don't want government continue to fund pre-K. I mean, there is a report out right now, and I won't get political, that actually calls for the elimination of Head Starts in pre-K. Think about that. Think about that. At a time when we're talking about trying to stop poverty, so we have a long way to go. I want to have the panel give any last words or things that they want the community at large to think about, and then we'll wrap this thing up. But what are your last words or last thoughts you want people to take away from the film, but also from your experience with the Guaranteed Basic Income? Cynthia, we'll start with you.
Again, I appreciate the program, Mayor and Reverend, for allowing us to participate in this, and for you guys to understand that there are people that needs this type of assistance. As you can see, we are three of thousands of other people that needs the help. So in order for us to keep having these programs, it takes the community to come out all together and speak out, participate, vote, whatever case might be, and let's just keep getting these fundings going.
All right, Lee.
Yeah.
We're going to go to South Ave Park after this, 999 South Avenue.
I'm familiar. I eat a lot of chicken over there. I just want to thank everyone for coming out, being in attendance. Like I said, you're not going to change it all in a day, but starting somewhere is a start. So I definitely appreciate that, and I appreciate all the hands involved. Yeah, like I said, it's making a difference. So you guys are doing something positive here. So.
Gabby.
Same thoughts, thank you. And moving forward, once I got in the program, I told them I would do any interview, any video that they needed to pass it forward, to do my part in giving my testimonies or anything, because I do believe that this is something that needs to continue, needs to spread. And as you can see, different ages, different classifications, different background dynamics, everybody just deserves to have basic needs met.
And we're going to hold you to that. We're going to hold her to that. We're going to keep having you speak and spread the word on this. So, and they often say you can't have a testimony without a test, and all three of these folks have been tested, and you've heard just a little piece of their testimony. Now, I will say that we continue to advocate for resources for Rochester. I got the state, me and a group of folks. So for the first time, Rochester has received more state aid. And in addition to that state aid, we got $25 million in poverty aid that is going to flow through Monroe County, but it is targeted to zip codes within the city of Rochester, 14605, 14611, and other zip codes that have high levels of poverty. Of the top 5 poorest zip codes in New York State, 3 of them are in the city of Rochester. So it means that we have work to do. And programs like this, pilots like GBI, along with other interventions that we think will work, rental assistance, home ownership programs, roof repair programs, healthy food programs, these are all our By the Block program, which is a home ownership program. On the northeast side of the city, we're also doing it on the west side of the city to reverse years of redlining in those neighborhoods, are all very important to help us change the trajectory of poverty in our community. But we also have to call on the federal government to make the child tax credit permanent. And we can do that. So I want to thank you all for being here, for coming here today. Thank you for the Little for hosting us. And again, I'm just so grateful also to my colleagues at Mirrors for Guaranteed Income for making the film available to us. They have been great partners. I will say stay tuned. We will have lots of data that we will be able to share with the community. We have Leo, which is the lab over at Notre Dame that is cataloging all this information, all these stories that you are hearing from people. And although there were a couple of hundreds of participants that participated in this, anybody that understands mathematics and permutations means that hundreds may have participated, but thousands will be impacted because you heard the people that live in these households. Think about that. Think about the effect that the hundreds of people that participated in this program is going to have on the thousands of lives of people that are tied to those folks. And then it just will continue to be that multiplier effect. So thank you all for being here today. Stay tuned, stay connected, and thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you.